As flickered flame makes shadows bend, and smoke meets moonlight, cold and blue. When blackest night hails twilight's end, then darkness comes to beckon you. As hunger turns the flesh to fire, and breathing falters, reason halts, then creep the claws of dark desire to rip and split you at your faults.
Moro, how are you doing?
Oh, hello, Vic. I had a rather rough night sleeping in an unfamiliar place. How about yourself?
Oh, quite used to the travel, actually. I slept quite well. I'm a little curious about the book you're reading, though.
Stories passed down from, well, you know how oral tradition works. You're a performer. But
Oh,
at some point, they were written down here. And there are some rather curious patterns. And she will point out to Wick the same pattern of these women that she had noticed, that you pointed out to me. But she will intentionally kind of steer the conversation away from Dayrick and just not try to think about that part too hard.
Can I roll to see if I see that Derek's in the book? A perception check?
Yeah, let's do that against, let's do it against Moro's Thievery DC, which is probably pretty low. It's
What
plus
is
9.
Thievery? Yeah, plus 9.
So you got to get higher than it. So this is going to be a perception check, and you got to beat a 19.
Oh, God, that was a 1. My perception is only a 16, so I have a 17.
All right, let the dice tell the
Okay.
story. You do not notice Derek's book.
I think from here, Wick will just at least notice that Moro is looking a little, I don't want to say like defeated, but kind of deflated a little bit. And instead of going further into the book, he will just sort of try to steer her to breakfast.
And I think there's something about breakfast that does kind of cheer her up. She's breathe in, breathe out, and for once she's not trying to live however many years in the future to figure out how to solve the puzzle. She closes her journal, she closes her book, and she actually sits down and just lives in the moment and has the conversations with Wick and with Thistle and with Sinzun, existing in the moment instead of worrying so much about the future.
And before the expedition, was there some sort of breathing apparatus, much like Odessa's mask, that we've been able to obtain for each of us?
Absolutely. You probably determined that the easiest thing to do would be to rent them when you were in town, because there are lots of mines here. So presumably you could either purchase them from a local store or rent them and then just give them back when you're done.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have rearranged renting those.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys can do that when you're in town. I will hand wave that away, but let me just get the cost for you.
I'll take it because I also bought my little guy a hat, so I need to take out some gold anyway.
Oh no, did we have to pay for the hats?
Typically, that's how bartering and trade does work.
Money is exchanged for goods and services.
Exactly.
I'd like to roll for thievery.
Wait a minute. This poor milliner's like, wait a minute, those
Yeah,
are like the hats that I had in my storefront.
You won't lie, but you will steal. Very curious.
Yeah.
You guys may rent 4 moderate ever air masks. These will give you breathable air for 4 hours. For all 4 of you, it is 14 gold. A lot of 4s.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, yeah, 1 more day of travel, and then in the mid-morning, you guys make your way to Red Barrow.
Excellent.
The town of Red Barrow lies in a valley surrounded by large hills. You can see the entrance to a mine at one hill, and miners are climbing up the path to begin their shift. The town itself is typical for a mining community with multiple saloons and blacksmiths on every street. There's a large general goods store for any mundane needs that you might have. There's a satellite magistrate's office and several municipal buildings. You guys will need to now pinpoint the location of the mine. The taverns, bars, and restaurants are fairly quiet, as the miners are usually up at first light to begin the day's work. Guard patrols make their rounds, merchants and clerks hustle to their shops and desks. There's a boy on the corner selling broadsheets. So it's time for everybody's favorite mechanic, gather information. Now, I will say, now that you guys are in a new place, if you would like to potentially lower the DC, you guys may spend up to 5 gold each, and that will represent, buying somebody a drink, or, maybe gambling, playing some cards, playing some darts, something like that.
And I give my 5 to Wick and be like, here you go, buddy, go nuts. I feel like you're going to do a lot better at this than I will.
Well, everybody's going to roll. So if you want to chip in 5, you may do so.
I will.
To lower your DC.
Mhm.
And let me know what you get.
28. I can't catch a freaking break today.
I love how you guys have been so skewed on Pathfinder already that you're like, ugh, a 28, that's so low.
Disgusting.
If I rolled a 28 in D&D, I would
Literally.
have to do the math again because I wouldn't believe that I did that
I would
well.
be vibrating, yeah.
An 18 total for Morrow.
Did you chip in 5 gold, or do you not? Are you poor?
I'm not poor. I have the
Are you
gold.
poor?
I'm going to chip in 2 gold because I think it would have taken Morrow. She's used to library research. So this is very new to her, and she's like, oh, wait. Shit, I forgot I can just buy people shit, and they'll like me more. So I'll chip in 2 because character reasons. I don't think she'd get with the picture quite quick enough.
Wick rolled a 29.
I also rolled a 29.
Between the 4 of you, you guys are able to locate the surveyor's office, and you're able to procure the map to the closed cinnabar mine. It does exist. Woohoo!
Neat.
Yes.
Here's what y'all learn along the way. Morrow. While many in Red Barrow seem unfamiliar with the local history, believing that they've always been a part of Vesperholt, a few people do confirm to you that Red Barrow and the surrounding land used to be part of Amon's County, but is now part of Ardeal County and officially a part of Vesperholt. So that again lines up with some of the stuff that you've learned up to this point.
Okay, that's tracking.
Thistle. Amon's County has traditionally been less formally run than Ardeal, with lands changing hands based on the Count or Countess's whims, the Count or Countess of Amon's being, bribes, interpersonal deals, and turf wars. Since Amon's borders veer Lick, it is usually regarded as more dangerous and unstable, with more vicious nobility, either because they are trying to defend their people against monsters, or because they are monsters themselves. Wick. You learn that these particular lands were given to Lord Morrigan Steely after he distinguished himself as a ruthless commander on the battlefield as a young man, impressing the Count of Ardeal at the time. He built Steely Castle over the next 10 years deep in the woods. And finally, Cinza, you learn that Dr. Velstrom is known in Red Barrow. Those who understand her Dhampir nature explain that when she was about 12, she fell on a rock and cut her leg badly. No one was sure how to treat her, so she was taken to Misthaven, where Dr. Dayrick himself performed the surgery to stitch up her wounds. From then on, she became his apprentice and only returned to Red Barrow a handful of times. All of the other siblings, who were much older than her, moved to Caliphas, but her eldest brother, Eddard, moved back into the home of their grandparents when their mother died, and is known as a recluse, only emerging for auctions and estate sales. He collects stories and artwork about local legends. You are given the rough location of Eddard's house.
Interesting. Okay.
So you guys have a couple options. You are going to be passing by Eddard's house on the way to the mine. So if you would like to stop there first, you may absolutely do so. I'll let you guys discuss it.
I really want to, but I don't know if we should alert people to the fact that we're here. I don't want people asking questions.
The house is a little bit out of town, so you won't
Okay.
necessarily be observed.
Okay.
On one hand, I'm like, that sounds like a plot point. We should probably do that. On the other hand, the last time Morrow tried to be like, oh yes, I'm a student of Dr. Dayrick, so obviously this is going to work out for me. It fucking didn't.
It didn't. Well, if he collects stories, we have a Wick.
Wick, my man, front and center, please.
Our precious little baby boy, our precious little baby full-grown man. Perhaps this would be a good opportunity to exchange information.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that given that was specifically mentioned, we should go check it out, but I think Morrow should not, through any means, help. Unless directly asked.
I will help. I will directly, through means, help.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to stop there, we're welcome to. I think we just need to be careful about what we say because we don't know what kind of relationship Eddard has with his sister.
Very true.
Hey, mommy.
Yes.
Was
my
there
child.
enough information for I'm the game child? Is there enough information here for Murrow to figure out, like, can I pretend to be writing a journal and get the information that I need if I'm asking about, like, medical practices for a medical journal? Or is that going to seem weird and suspicious?
If Wick is going to be front and center, honesty is probably going to be the best policy.
The symbol of Sekhmet that we picked up a while ago, I don't believe that had any sort of. But this is why you have a note taker, my friends. I don't believe we had any like magical purpose for that. We didn't really. It was just kind of a symbol.
The symbol of Sekhmet, you guys found that in episode 1. What a throwback!
Yes,
it is a artifact of religious import at the time. Really, nobody worships the Osiriani gods anymore. But a lot of people in Ustalav have an interest in Osirian. So it's one of those things where like a collector would really dig it because it's like in such good condition.
Yeah, I think Sinza, after we learn that, she comes back to the party and is like, hey, Dr. Velstrom's sibling is here. They say that he's really into art and collecting stories. And I think, and produces from her bag that symbol, a well-kept religious symbol that harkens back to a time of worship and has a cool story to go with it, namely our adventures in finding this, could be worth something.
I completely forgot we even had that. It's a brilliant idea, actually.
Thank you, Wick. I appreciate you for paying attention when I talk.
What sort of information are we looking for that isn't going to clue them into what we're doing? Like, what should we ask that isn't super telling?
It depends.
Because, okay, so if he is her sibling, then presumably he's also a Dhampir?
No.
Oh.
None of Agnetha's siblings, and the mother was not a Dhampir either. And they're all of her siblings are 10 to 15 years older than Agnetha.
Oh.
Make sure I'm clear on Pathfinder lore. Remind me of the difference between vampires and Dhampir.
So a vampire can be any mortal creature, including animals, actually, who have gone through a vampiric transformation, which includes being bitten and drained by a vampire. Okay. Some vampires can also be created through a dark ritual, but that is that's above table. That's very secret information. Most people don't know that. Morrow might. A Dhampir is the biological, extremely, yes.
Okay.
Some like Strahd stuff.
Yeah. The original vampires came through, and actually, Sinza, you might know this, being a fetchling. The original vampires, known as the Strigoi, were created by pulling Strigoi through the netherworld and allowing them to inhabit the body of a mortal in the mortal world. Now, you have to be very strong in order to be able to withstand that. Over time, the ritual progressed and changed to where weaker beings were being put through the ritual, and they became the strain of vampire that we call the Moroi. The Moroi are the most typical version of vampires. So they're the ones who look like mortals but are pale, have the pointy teeth, drink blood, all of that. Whereas the Strigoi are much more powerful, and they have like spooky shadow powers and stuff, which vampires do too. But the Moroi are able to create more of them, whereas the Strigoi don't.
Okay. And then Dhampir
are the biological offspring of a vampire and a living mortal person.
Okay, so we're pretty certain that Daddy Dearest was a vampire, and there's not anything like weird going on with turning her as a child here.
Yeah, and Morrow, I'll give you, especially again, because you rolled so well when we were first identifying vampires. That's one of the reasons why I'm giving you so much of this information. You know, there's a very nasty little idiom or whatever you want to call it that people say. It is way more common for a vampire father and a mortal mother. You have heard that there have been vampire women throughout time who have been able to give birth to Dhampir children, but it's extremely rare. The phrase that is used is easier to seed than to breed.
Mhm. Unpleasant.
Oh, like that. Wow.
And it's not an instance like with Ifrit lineage where it can skip generations, right?
Correct. Yes, it is absolutely not a bloodline.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for a minute, but Jesus Christ, I gotta write some stuff down. Someone else can eat while I write some stuff down.
The final question I have is, does this imply to us that Agatha is a half-sibling that came along later, or that it skipped, just like some of the kids didn't get they just ended up being normal humans?
The implication, because she is the last sibling and came along several years after the other siblings did, is that either the father was turned and then they had a baby, or yes, she is a half-sibling, one or the other.
Cool.
The homestead of Eddard Velstrom must have once been a picturesque two-story cottage, but without proper upkeep, the thatched roof is pitted and spotty. Whitewash peels from the walls, and the once merry shutters are pulled closed, bare dirt in the planter boxes. Uneven paving stones lead up to the front door, wooden planks covering the round window from the inside. Wick, do you knock on the door?
Sure. Just quickly to clarify, what information are we looking for here from him specifically?
What a great question. Wow.
I don't.
Thoughtful.
Okay, so this might be time for my conspiracy theory, actually. I might need to open my mouth. So, here's where my brain's going. This is the sibling of the Dhampir doctor. This is the sibling of Derek's apprentice. A vampire needed to be her father. And a vampire also needed to turn Radia's relative. And Derek already knew how to take care of this Dhampir child. Because our wonderful
The 1,000-year-old
stated that no one knew how to actually care for this Dhampiric wound, so she was sent to specifically Derek.
And Derek does have a reputation for understanding and dealing with undeath.
He's known as, he's considered the foremost authority.
In this area, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much that is just like, hey, this wound is beyond anyone local's control. We got to send you to big hospital as opposed to small localized hospital. And if that's that, or if it is specifically what you're...
Yeah, that absolutely could play a factor. But something that I will say is that, Moro, you do know that most Dhampir, some of them can be healed by vital energy, some of them can be healed by void energy, some of them can only be healed by void energy, which also means that they are immune to a lot of medical treatment, even non-divine medical treatment. You have to deal with them in a certain way. So, yeah, it might have literally killed her to be treated by a doctor who didn't know or understand what they were doing. And I think that your line of inquiry, something that I think is very important that you are picking up on, is this idea that, like, okay, we know that there was a vampire 180 years ago, Davroan Vidira, that was quite recently turned at the time and led this assault. The only other vampire we know about for sure in Vesperholt is Agnetha's father, whoever that was. So I think what might be most important for you guys is, whether you come right out and ask or you beat around the bush about it, is how and if they are connected.
And are we comfortable asking questions about the doctor, or?
I think we're just going to have to give ourselves away as the people that settled Misthaven's North Wing, perhaps. Because we dealt directly with his sister, and if he's in contact with his sister at all, and if we bring up Misthaven even slightly, he could easily just write her a little missive and be like, ran into some strange people who are asking a lot of questions, and then suddenly she's... So if we're dishonest about it, we can get our asses checked real quick.
I think that we should put Wick in charge. There's no lying that takes place here, because I feel like all of us are like, let's keep the information.
I am aghast that you think I can't be charismatic without lying. Yeah, it seems as like, that's fine. I'm just only the most charismatic out of the whole group or anything, whatever.
So, Wick, you knock on the door?
Absolutely.
As soon as you do, you hear a commotion of falling objects, like a desk being cleared off, and you hear a howling cat. Moments later, the wood over the window in the door pulls away slightly, and you see a wide blue eye peering out at you. What do you want?
Oh, good day. I just traveling through. We heard you were a collector of sorts, and we're hoping we could share an artifact with you if you don't mind.
And the wood swings back down. You hear a bunch of different locks opening, and Eddard pokes a head out. Too big to be delivery boys. Too clean to be mercs. Artifact?
Oh, we are adventurers and emissaries, actually, and we came across something strange in our travels, and from what we know of being in town for such a short while, have concluded that you're the one to talk to about such matters.
So what for should I let you in, eh? You need an invitation, do you?
Strange thing. No, if you wouldn't have us in, that would be fine, but would you like us to barge in?
It's a proprietary. It's propriety, not not rules that we have to abide by.
That I'd be happy to walk through the door without a verbal invitation.
And he casts his eyes over all of you. And Moro, since you're the one who offers proof, he holds out what is a surprisingly clean hand. You see he has close trimmed nails, which are scraped clean. He beckons for you to come a little closer.
Step up.
Whether you flinch or not is up to you, but what he attempts to do is place his thumb and his fingers around your jaw.
Oh, I let him. I figure he's
pushes,
checking for teeth. And I will actually
pushes,
open my mouth and let him see there's no fangs, there's no...
Understood, yeah. And yeah, his hands go over your jaw and he's rubbing. It's not even like he's looking. He's almost looking past you. He's feeling, he's doing it by feel. And I'll have everybody roll your magical tradition. Let's just see if you guys are clocking in the moment what he's acting. You're absolutely right. Yes, he's checking the teeth. But you showing him your teeth is not enough to him.
Okay. That's 18 plus 15. I can't do math today.
That's okay, 33. That's
Thank
enough.
you. That's what I got.
25.
Okay, that's enough.
18.
Okay, just enough.
16 for Wick.
16, okay. So Wick, I will say the DC is going to be lower for you because of the way that you work as a performer. Illusion magic, standard illusion magic, is very good at creating sights and creating sounds. What it is, where it falls short, is simulating touch. So like if you were using the wardrobe stone that you guys got, and you were restyling yourself or something with a restyle rune, you can make your clothes look like any number of things. But if you actually touch the garment, you would know probably that it is not real. If you were pretending to be a hellspawn and somebody tried to grab your horns, they would not be there. So what Eddard is doing is feeling you, Moro. It doesn't matter what you look like. It matters what you feel.
She'll still show her mouth out of good face, but then face I can see. But then she will mostly just relax her muscle and let him get as good of a feel as he wants, because this is the moment that the trust is built.
He will finish. There is no extra advantage taken in touching you. Like, it doesn't turn into anything else. He just lets his hand go. And he will shuffle away, leaving the door open.
I'll walk right through.
And the rest of you may cross the threshold as well. Presume whoever's coming in last is going to close the door.
Yeah.
Eddard's entire life seems to be kept in this main room. A cot for sleeping covered in rumpled bedclothes pocked with burn marks, a portable cooking station underneath a small hole in the thatching, and a large desk in the middle of the room covered with papers and books, which are also strewn about in piles, along with random waste and debris. The wall facing the desk has many papers and images nailed to it. There's a fluffy gray and white cat peeking out from under the desk with its back arched. Eddard sits at the desk and lights a pipe.
I thank you so much for allowing us to come and show you what we have. And I look over to Cinza, who I think has the artifact.
Yeah, she produces it and hands it to Wick to present to him.
unwrap it from a handkerchief and present it to him delicately, like it hasn't just been. I feel like we've put like more into making like, oh, it's such a, but really we're just like that thing we found at the bottom of our bag somewhere.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, he'll take a look at it, and so you say you don't know what it is?
We have an idea of, we have a general idea, but we found it in, and I think Zinza looks at Wick, knowing that he can spin a good tale. We found it in as if to prompt, like, hey, tell the story of us in that tomb and how we found it.
We are, as I'd said earlier, adventurers and emissaries. We had been on a very brief mission and encountered some very dire circumstances, and upon our travels in this tomb, came upon it, as well as some other artifacts that we could discuss later if you are interested in those as well.
Well, if it's money you all are looking for, take a look around. There's nothing really I have for you. I can identify what it is. It's a symbol of Sekhmet, and there's many a foppish fool in Caliphas or Ideal who'd give you what you're looking for, but that's not going to be part of my collection. Sorry to make you come all this way on a wild goose chase. And he hands it back to Wick.
May I ask why you think we come to you for money?
That's what treasure hunters want. Money, power, thrill of the hunt.
Some of those things are true. Information, I think, is more valuable to us.
Who sent you?
Ourselves?
Depends on your definition of scent.
Maybe you should have gotten your story straight before you came in the door.
Yeah, I think Zinza visibly winces when Morrow starts talking. Like, damn it.
My compatriot and I don't have a story. We are being paid by one Emrit Montcrief to do several things. This is not one of them. We have come here of our own volition, for our own interests.
But if it is stories you're after, we do have quite a few.
Remember when Morrow said she wasn't going to help at all in any fashion, form,
She does
or
this
way?
every time. No,
Yeah, she does. She
these
super
are the control
does.
issues. She's like, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. I can't shut up.
Well, to that end, maybe surprisingly, and only Wick and Morrow noticed this, but when Morrow says Emmerich Montcrief, Eddard is trying to keep his face steady, but you two see a twitch of recognition that unfortunately Thistle and Zinza don't notice.
Do I get a sense as to whether it's a good or a bad recognition?
It doesn't seem bad. Like he's
Okay.
not.
He doesn't.
And as you're talking, and he's thinking, and it looks to I think Thistle and Zinza as he's looking as to what to say, but to the other two of you, it looks like he's putting pieces together, like drawing, like you said, drawing strings. He says, my sister sent you to check on me, supply me with stories, so let my guard down, and then what? You take me back to Pale Gleam, take me out of the house, take me away from my research?
I don't want to take you anywhere.
Absolutely not.
We have met your sister, but it was only very briefly, and I don't know if she's our biggest fan. I did study under the doctor that she apprentices for, and he and I aren't seeing eye to eye recently.
Agnetha's not always my biggest fan either. If you've ran afoul of her, then maybe you are asking the right questions after all.
She doesn't seem like she likes much, if I'm honest. Now that I feel like this is a safe space to kind of dunk on your sister a little bit.
Mostly, we just didn't want to offend you.
Offended, no. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister very much, but she uses that inquiring mind of hers like a bullseye lantern, shining narrow beams into the darkness, not seeing what's around her.
I was going to remind herself to shut the fuck up, open her mouth, close her mouth, step back, and really try to focus on not helping anymore, because she's just very, very lucky that went very well instead of getting us in more trouble.
I almost we kind of want now.
Yeah, I think we agreed that Wick was taking point on this. I think Zinza's eyes cast over to Wick as if to be like, go on.
May I ask a question about your sister?
Why not?
How long has she worked for the doctor?
Studied and worked. Of course, yeah, she went to school abroad to actually get her doctorate, but she's known the doctor since she got hurt years ago.
And does she visit you?
From time to time. Let's see, to make sure I'm keeping up the place.
Wick just kind of looks around. Oh, yes, I see. As my companions here have already said, we are unfortunately not on the good doctor's terms right now. And, well, we have a couple questions, if you don't mind indulging.
Yes, I would love to know what you consider to be a pressing query.
My style of inquiry is unfortunately just over a nice warm cup of tea.
Yeah, the cooking station is available if you'd like to try. I don't know if you want to drink out of anything here, but
First thing Wick does is the dishes.
It kind of. I was gonna say, be like, let me just wash up some mugs.
Honestly, I think Mara's good to go. Wick, dear, ask your questions. I'll get the tea. And she's going to try to physically remove herself from a situation in which she could slip up and open her mouth again. So I'll spend however long you need me to doing dishes, getting things sanitary enough that I feel safe eating and drinking out of it. And
absolutely, yes. Moro, you can you can busy yourself with that. And yeah, you may go ahead and ask your questions.
Oh, a nice traveler's rest. Let me ask you, how much do you trust the doctor?
Sir Ryan Derrick?
The very same.
Fairytale hero. Vesperholt's savior. Knight of Ozum who slew the vampire Baron of Vesperholt, enshrined the Vidir family as rulers of the land, left to found Lastwall, returned to found Misthaven, as if given second life. I've read accounts. I've seen artwork. I know there are some who think elves can live forever or nigh forever. This was a rejuvenation, plain and simple. Why would such a figure become a simple country doctor? Huh? Are they even the same man?
Like, the party kind of like is. I'm not entirely sure if he's all together. Like, I'm kind of thinking, what are we getting out of this?
Mara's trying very hard to keep her mouth shut right now. It is a visible effort.
I think as he mentions goes down this like bulleted list of things, Cinza very visibly leans forward, like hands steepled, eyes wide, like suddenly she's very interested in this. She was interested, but now he has said things that are like, huh.
Yeah, there was a very juicy tidbit of information in there that you guys have never heard before.
Yeah, that one that he was a Knight of Ozum, we just knew he was a champion of Eridan.
Mm-hmm.
But did not know he was a Knight of Ozum and slew the vampire baron of what was it again? Of Vesperholt?
Of this barony. So you guys knew that the Vidira family had, or what you had been told, was that the Vidir family has had control of Vesperholt for 1,200 years.
Mm-hmm.
So basically 300 years of that time was under the Whispering Tyrant.
Yes. And then this guy rocks up and supposedly, according to legend, as told by this potentially crazy man, says that he slew the vampire baron of Vesperholt. And I guess, fuck it, Cinza asks, slew the vampire baron, to what end? What became of the barony after that?
Well, for 300 years, in the time of the tyrant, Vesperholt was ruled by the Baron Dukar Rashavi, who kept his sister's family like pets at that Veracasti manor. The Vidiras. It's a dark time, literally and historically. Perhaps he bred them like dogs, or used them for blood. Everyone is a vampire's plaything when he's not confined to the shadows.
Set down a tray of like little pastries or whatever little snacks I could find, go back to the water. Shoots in the process, kind of shoots Cinza a look, attempting to do like the telepathy thing that you can do when you've known someone long enough. It's just like, hey, you remember that whole, like, I'm doubting Dayrick thing? This seems really fucking relevant.
If telepathy worked right now, it'd be like, yeah, no shit. um, curious. Okay. At he just kept them at Veracosti, and then this man, Dr. Dayrick, or Sir Dayrick, I suppose at the time, just shows up from where and challenges Dukar for what?
Yes. Well, you know, the Knights of Ozum, they were charged with completely flushing out every scrap of the Whispering Tyrant's hold. Once he was enshrined in Gallowspire, once he was sealed away, they swept across the land, taking out all of his network, every baron and knight, and driving them back to Verlick or killing them outright. And so it was with Sir Dayrick. Came to Vesperholt, strode up to the Vidira Manor, walked in with his retained knights, and they slew the Baron. So they say.
Are you saying that Dr. Dayrick had a massacre?
A massacre of undead, yes. I'm sure they had to do quite a bit of dusting when that was all over, didn't they? So just so you guys don't go down too far of a tangent, what Eddard is saying is that is that Sir Dayrick and the other Knights of Ozum who were with him basically went to what is now known as Vidira Manor. You can imagine at the time it was called Rishavi Manor, and got rid of the Vampire Baron and all of his undead horde. And then presumably the Vidira who were living at Veracosti were then installed as the Baron or the Baroness of the land.
Close to 900 years ago, which would put Dayrick as actually being close to 1,000 years old if he was an adult when he did this.
As per the text suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which means... Yeah, exactly. So when we say a massacre, we say a bloodbath. The only, like, mortals that were presumably killed during that event were ones that were loyal to the Baron. So they probably were not the best people.
Oh, 100%. This is just a lot of new information from our own process.
Yeah. And but I just want to make sure that, like, it's being couched, like Eddard he's not saying it like it's like this great thing, but you know, a normal person probably would be like, what a hero, what a shining,
It's like, you gotta do some shitty things to stop people from doing even shittier things sometimes. It's ethics and morals and all of that, but
For point of lore clarification, is this at a time period where people occasionally lived side by side with undead who were sentient and could be, like, were there undead that could be totally chill and therefore wiping out this nest, if you will, of undead under the Baron was kind of like, well, I'm doing this for the greater good and that's why I'd have regrets about it? Or is this like they were pretty blanket evil at the time?
The Whispering Tyrant was determined to wipe out all life in existence. So anybody
this was no problem.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Cool.
Just making sure that's I was understanding that correctly.
Completely, you already know that there are undead who can be pretty chill. These days, probably if you're going to encounter an undead who's like cool, it's probably going to be a skeleton. They seem to, for whatever reason, have like the best control of their faculties. Maybe it's because they like eat bones, so they don't necessarily have to participate in preying on the living. They can kind of wait for like life to take its course before they go do what they got to do. But yeah, so there are definitely, especially now that the Gravelands are opened again, there are some skeletons who are pretty cool, and some of them who actually do fight other undead. Dhampir are the same way. Some Dhampir do give in to their undead nature, and they do feed on the living. But some of the fiercest undead fighters are Dhampir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how old does Eddard appear to be?
That is mid-60s.
And he's human, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Or actually, he's half elf. I apologize.
That's right. I was going to say I thought I remembered his sister being half elf.
And half elves, you don't have to be the child of an elf and a human. You could be the child of two half elves.
Okay. but they have a lifespan. Like if he
About
appears to be in his mid
150.
60s.
Yeah, about
Okay.
150 years. And then Dompier lives are about analogous to an elf, so 500 to 700.
Gotcha.
I apologize. This is just a lot to take in, Eddard. I have studied under Dr. Dayrick. I also have my doctorate. He was one of my teachers when I was in medical school. What do you mean rejuvenation ceremony? That is what?
Yeah, and he will happily show you, like going through some of his papers and some of his books, the description of Dr. Dayrick at the founding of Misthaven describes a hale and hearty man in his prime.
The founding of Miss
Which-
Haven was how many years ago?
350.
Okay. Which, if this timeline is correct, would still put him at well over half of an elf's expected life.
Closer to the end of an elf's
Of an
expected
elven
life,
life.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've been learning a lot about my old teacher recently, and I don't quite know what to make of it. May I ask? No loaded anything. Then I'll go back to my tea, but do you have an opinion of the man?
He's a man of secrets, but so is Vesperholt. He has been good to my sister. Trained her, taught her well, kept her safe. Never treated her as anything less than she should be, which is more than I can say for some of those people out there. She reminds them of what this place is hiding.
Hiding?
Yes. We have always walked under the shadow of corruption in Ustalav. Most of them out there, the rank-and-file peasantry, the hustling merchants, the middling bureaucrats, they believe Ustalav to be one of mundane misfortune. They turn a blind eye to what lurks in the darkness. But Vesperholt, we are what they imagine themselves to be. We live in a fairy tale land, boys and girls. And fairy tales are for children. Whatever storyteller spins our lives in Vesperholt, they have no respect for our capacity to reason. And perhaps they're right. Look at Agnetha! Void and vitality roiling through her guts, and yet she only chooses to see rainbows in the mists. Would I trust the doctor to heal me? Absolutely. But I trust him to tell me the truth? Only a bedtime story.
Interesting. Excuse me, the tea sounds like it's ready.
And yeah, he will drink it down gladly, put his pipe down and cup the saucer, the cup with both hands and drink, not giving too much of a care for how hot it is as it goes down his throat.
I think Scenes has been listening with rapt attention the entire time, and eventually speaks up again. I apologize in advance if this is a sore subject. But are you willing to talk about your father, or if I'm mistaken, Agnetha's father? I don't want to assume they're different, but given her nature and yours...
You would be right to assume so, but no, they're not. My father was a copper miner for a while. But he would never raise the money he wanted to move us all to Caliphas by snaring rabbits or digging wells. I was almost a man myself, and I was not ignorant to his plans. He wanted to rob Steely Castle. You can't fault the man's logic. Minimal guard, the cover of night in the woods. And he had equipment to scale the walls or blow them up if need be. Whether he succeeded, well, who can say? When he didn't come home, Mother thought he must have been caught and arrested. When no guard came for us, she assumed he must have been attacked by wolves. Great dire wolves patrol those forests. They say Lord Steely bred them with a pit fiend to protect his castle and the cherry orchards.
Mm.
I'm assuming that is not the case. Though if he was caught, he got away at some point.
He came home. Eventually. It was different. Changed. He never told us why or how or what. Never raised a hand to us. Never harmed us. Mother kept him alive. Do not know how. I was not inclined to ask.
I don't blame you. So you and Agatha share both parents, then?
We never shared father. Before my mother was to give birth, my father climbed the top of a hill and let the sun take him. He could not live with what he had become. I do not know why. Most vampires do not revel necessarily in their turning right away, but they will do what they need to do to survive and to thrive. Perhaps my father was made of different stuff. Maybe Agnetha knows more. She is closer to his nature than I.
I don't know if your sister would be willing to speak to us. As I said, she and I aren't on the best of terms. I pushed where I shouldn't have.
She ought to come with a guide, that sister of mine. But there are some who she's grown close to over the years. It is not impossible. And he's laughing to himself like, oh, how clever. And Thistle and Cinza, you don't really know what he's referring to, but Morrow and Wick, you know that he's trying to hide something from you about recognizing Emmerich's name. So there's a potential that it has something to do with that.
May I be blunt?
I believe you are capable. More than capable. And he looks down at the light mace at your side.
Given how I seem to have made an impression on your sister, you are rather correct. There's something you're not saying, and as we have been open and honest with you, which is actually rather an accomplishment for this party, I would ask that you do the same. What if I traded you a personal artifact of mine in exchange for information?
I don't know what I can tell you. What I have to trade: stories, legends, suspicions.
I'd love to hear your stories and your suspicions. How about this? And she's going to pull out a basically 150-year-old piece of chainmail that looks like it was pulled off of some armor. This is the first patient I lost. It is not something I would part with lightly. But I feel that I owe it to the people of this town to figure out how I can help. And I don't believe I can do that without the information that you hold.
And he doesn't reach out for the armor.
I'm just going to leave it's a piece maybe an inch by 2 inches. And I'm just going to leave it sitting on the table and let him either take it or not.
Why do you wish to break the spell of this place? Why do you wish to pierce the veil that has been placed over Vesperholt? What do you gain? What do you get? What does it benefit you?
Well, paid for one. But it's become more than that. I don't want to speak for the rest of my party. Let them do that themselves. But I trained under David. I defended him. I feel that, let's just say I've seen some things that I don't necessarily feel completely confident divulging here. Something that happened years and years and years ago, but it was not good. And even though I had nothing to do with it, I feel like I should have known better. And I feel responsible for solving it.
I can help you make amends. I'm not opposed to the idea. I love my sister very much. I believe in her. I will not tell her secrets. If she has not chosen to share them, I respect it. But if you would like to throw back the curtain and expose this place for what I believe it might be, then let us work together. And he'll reach out not for the armor, but for your hand.
He's going to kind of cast a sideward glance at Cinza and Wick and just be like, wait, it worked. Do I keep going? Do I... Like, she's...
Cinza has fully sat back and has a look on her face that says, like, you said you weren't helping, so you got into this. This is all you, baby.